and welcome to the Snook Nook. I am Simone Snook, a realtor with Unicorn Realty at Fathom, and I'm here today with Michael Van Hall. Michael is a licensed home inspector and the owner of Blue Mountain Home Inspections. So, thank you so much for meeting with me today, Michael.
Of
I'm excited
course.
to talk with you.
Yeah.
So, first of all, how did you make your way to Asheville? Where did you come from originally?
I grew up in Valley City, North Dakota, a little town in North Dakota where it's very cold. So I do much better in Asheville.
That I
Yes. So
understand.
I was there. I grew up there on a farm. So I did lots of maintenance there, learned about all that kind of stuff. And my father was also a real estate broker and developer. So I got a little bit of that in there. So I started early with kind of what I do now. It helped me with my business now.
That's wonderful.
So from there, I moved all over the place. Been in Tucson for a number of years. I've been in California for 8 years. And then my wife and I traveled all over the United States. We did a road trip all the way around to the cities we thought we might want to live in and we'd heard of. And when we got to Asheville, we just kind of knew this was it.
Mm-hmm.
Had the most vibrant downtown I've ever seen, and really great artists there and street musicians, and we just really liked it. So about 5 years ago, we moved here.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh, we have kind of a similar story ourselves, but very glad we ended up here.
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about your business and why you decided to start it.
Well, that gets back to our little trip to figure out where we wanted to live. Once we decided on this, we stayed in an Airbnb for a couple of months and looked at properties all over the place. And we put an offer in on a property, and that eventually fell through, but they had a home inspection report from a previous potential buyer, and I'd never seen that before. So they offered it to us while we were deciding whether we wanted to put an offer in. And I thought wow, this looks interesting. And I didn't know what I was going to do when I moved here because I've changed professions numerous times.
Okay.
I just thought we'd figure it out when we got here. So that looked really interesting to me, and that fell through. But on this house where we're next to right now, when we put an offer in on this one, I asked for a home inspection, and then I followed the guy around, which is kind of funny because that makes it kind of tough for him. But I asked lots of questions and thought, I think this might be something I want to do. So then I went through the licensure process, and I have a lot of experience in building and all of that anyway. So it was a natural fit for me.
That's so great.
Yeah.
I love that. And then what has surprised you the most about owning your own business?
Well, since I've owned the numerous different types, what
Mhm.
has really surprised me is that nothing's out of reach. It's like if
Mhm.
it's scary to start a business for a lot of people, and as a little bit, I still have a little bit of trepidation when I'm going to go into something new, but I've owned a restaurant, fine dining restaurant, and I never cooked a thing in my life, and I just went in and bought it and thought I'm going to figure this out. Everybody there taught me what I needed to know, and it just seems like owning a business, you can always make it just taking one foot in front of the other.
Mhm.
It all eventually works out. You all eventually learn how to do everything, and it's not so bad. So whenever somebody asks me something about that, because they're considering something they've never done before, it's always doable. It just
Mhm.
takes a little time and a little patience and
Mhm.
comes together.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what are your goals for this next year with your business?
Well, I just hired my first additional home inspection about
Okay.
4 months ago, or home inspector about 4 months ago, and that's worked out really well. I really like the managing aspect of it and the mentorship aspect of it.
Mhm.
I trained him for quite a while, and I would actually like to find a couple more home inspectors
Great.
and put myself more in the mentor role, teaching, training, and supervisory role of that, because I found that very rewarding, and
Mhm.
then it keeps a person busy, keeping
Yes.
track of everybody. But
Yes.
that's an aspect I'd like to explore, and I'd like to have a whole diverse type of home inspectors. I'd love to
Mhm.
have a female. There not a lot of females in the industry, but there are some,
Mhm.
and they're
Mhm.
really good. And I would love to have somebody like that on my team. So that's kind of my goal, to just kind of keep expanding a little bit, where I back away from the home inspection, doing the actual home inspections the most, but I drive around all of them and help them out and do all of that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. That sounds great.
Yeah.
What's sort of the strangest thing you've ever
Oh.
found in a house, or one of them?
Well, snakes are always interesting.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But I
Mhm.
haven't run into nearly as many as I thought I would.
Okay.
Usually they're blacks. In fact, I've only ever seen black snakes, which are the good ones.
Yes. Yes.
I know there's others around, but they've stayed away from me.
Good.
But I find them in attics and in crawl
Mhm.
spaces. And in both places, they're actually good because they're not poisonous and they help keep down the mice and rat populations.
Oh, so when you tell the prospective buyers,
that's a
you're
little,
like, "This is good."
they get a
There's
little
snake
creeped
here.
out when they're in the attic. That kind of bothers them, you know, but I've only seen 2 of those out of like 1,200 home inspections. So,
Oh.
yeah.
Yeah, we, to my knowledge, we haven't had one in our house, but we did have one in our air conditioner.
Oh,
at
yeah.
one point, I felt really bad because we accidentally killed it because we
Yes.
didn't know it was there.
And that's
Turned
one
on
of
the
the
AC.
that's one of the other strange
Yeah.
things when I open an electrical panel sometime and take the front cover off. I've seen snakes up there that got electrocuted and
Oh
they're
my
just
gosh.
there. Mice, rats, they crawl up in there, don't know that if they touch the 2 wires or something and zap, and then they're in there for who knows how long
Oh, no.
until I open it up.
Oh,
So
my
that
goodness.
those are kind of some odd things that it's not fun to find.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That no, not
Yeah.
great.
But
So
home inspection horror stories that you hear about, all houses are houses. They can all be fixed. Just depends on what kind of elbow grease somebody wants to put into them.
Mhm.
So I've been in houses that are just almost completely ruined, and I don't know why anybody would want to fix it up, but they do. And I
Mhm.
come back and wow, they could even fix this up. So
Yeah.
it can all work.
That's a skill I wish I had. It's like the ability to actually fix the house.
Right.
As opposed to just notice what needs to be fixed.
Right.
What would your clients say they love the most about your business?
I think our business, we pride ourselves on good communication. And that's a huge thing, especially between the home inspector and the potential buyer. Putting them at ease, letting them know that these things are not unusual, or if they are a little bit unusual, but not scaring them is the biggest thing. Not, of course you want them to know if something's really not right.
Right.
And we do that. But it can be an overwhelming thing when they see a report with 20 or 30 things, even if they're little things, it gets a little bit scary for them. Yeah. So our communication style really helps put them at ease, and I think that's the best thing.
Yes. Moving on from the business just a little bit. So you, in your job, get to go all over the area.
I do.
So what are some of, this could be in your neighborhood or anywhere else in the area, some spots that you like to go to or frequent?
Oh, well, that's a pretty easy one because we love Hot Springs. Hot Springs is about a half an hour from where I live, and we go to the Hot Springs Resort and soak in the tub every Sunday night.
Oh, good for you.
That's the one thing we indulge ourselves with. It's on the schedule. We book it 2 months out in advance, and we just take that as a little bit of a date night. We go drive over there in the afternoon and hike a little bit first, which is awesome hiking and all around here. And so we do some hiking, then we soak in the tub, and then we go eat dinner, and then we come home, and that's our weekly thing.
That's so great.
Yeah.
I love that.
So one of the reasons we've always loved Hot Springs. So we've been to a lot of them. But the other thing is my wife and I were general managers of an upscale Hot Springs resort in Northern California
Which
for
town
5
was
years.
that in?
Well, it's not in a town.
Oh, okay.
It's north of Sacramento. So
Okay.
it's way out, off grid, all of that.
Okay,
And
cool.
so we managed that and ran that for 5 years. And that's the last job I had prior to this job. So we know a lot about how they work and what makes them tick. And we love the waters and we love to soak and enjoy.
Oh, that's so wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, other than that amazing weekly date night, which I'm so envious of, what are some other things that you mentioned hiking.
Hiking's a big one.
Yeah.
I enjoy golfing. Haven't had a lot of time to do it because we've been so busy with the housing market until just recently. But hopefully next year I'll get back to that a little bit.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, Michael, thank you so much again for talking with me.
Absolutely. Thank you.
It's been a real pleasure. And if you know anyone who would like to be interviewed for this or have any real estate questions, let me know. Thank you so much and happy holidays.